thanks to the support as a channel member, Kyle Mollix. Yes, some things are different, but some things always remain the same. I've signed 2 players, a 6'4" centre-back and a former Peterborough youngster on loan. Hello and welcome to part 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we play our first ever league matches. We're at home against Scunthorpe and away against one of our former Non-League to Legend teams, Kings Lynn. Pre-season has been questionable. We're not coming into this in incredible form. We did play against some good teams and Northampton though, so I guess there's that as a little bit of an excuse, but I have done a couple of transfers. Transfer number 1, he's a big boy. Brackley Town is a 21-year-old French centre-back who can also play up fronter to push. The important thing is he's 6'4" with 16 jumping reach, and in non-league, he should, if he doesn't get to double figures for goals, we're doing our set pieces wrong. He's never scored in his career. He's only played 2 games before, both down in the Ryman League, one for Basildon, one for Bury. But he's a former Ipswich youngster who never managed to break into the team at Billericay or Southend. It's fine. He's 6'4". We're playing with all of the defenders. We don't need him to be able to defend. We just need him to get on the end of long throws and corners. And fingers crossed, that's exactly what he's going to do for us. And then the other guy we brought in, Bailey McCann, is a former Peterborough youngster who incidentally used to be in my daughter's class at school. The son of former Peterborough United manager Grant McCann. He's a left back who came through the Peterborough youth system. Obviously, when McCann was Peterborough manager, and when McCann left, so did Bailey. He went to Barnsley. We've got him in on loan. He's a left wing back who's going to get up and down that left-hand side for us and hopefully create some chances for our big boys up front to score some goals. As promised, we are going to be using the hideous flat-back 7 because it kind of suits the squad that we've got, especially now we've got McCann and an extra defender in the shape of Kabongolo. We don't really have any wide players. We also don't really have a backup striker at the moment. That's likely to be Matt Lowe, which weirdly, because of the fact that he's our only other striker, it kind of means that he's not really in contention to play at right wing back. That and the fact that his pace and acceleration is shocking for a right wing back. I don't really want to be playing him out there if I can avoid it. So he's going to be our backup striker, as you can see, with a target man and a pressing forward. We're very much doing some proper non-league industrial football. Flat back 7, get crosses in, big boys, do set pieces. In fact, get that on, play for set pieces, and fingers crossed, do lots of goals from there. Scunthorpe, who the team that we're playing today, are one of the better teams in the division, so it's going to be an interesting test to see if we're going to be in a promotion race this season. The media expect us to finish mid-table. The board want us to finish top half, so we learn a lot right now. Let's introduce you to the boys. So in goal, it's Johnny Maxted, who has been he's only just joined the club. In fact, he's come in from Northampton. Never really been a first choice goalkeeper anywhere, apart from that one season with Guiseley years ago. He's our first choice keeper this season, though. And then our back 3 is Cade Craig, who's on loan from Solihull for the season, former Birmingham youngster, Kabongolo, who we've already met, and club captain, long-serving Gareth Dean, who's going to be our other threat at set pieces. He's the opposite of Kabongolo. He can't really jump, but he's good in the air with his head. So what we need is the big guy to somehow jump up, have the ball hit him, and it fall down to Dean, who can then head it in. It's a complicated strategy, but if we have a look at how we've got it set up, it literally is that. We've got the 2 of them stood there at the near post, Kabongolo for his jumping reach and Dean for his heading ability, and maybe we'll just get Kabongolo to pick Dean up and we'll figure it out. We've got a set piece coach. It's luxury at this level. Our defensive midfield 4 is then Bailey McCann, who we've just signed on loan, on the left. George Carline on the right, who's not much quicker than Lowe, to be honest. Was at Brackley last season, though, formerly of Leamington, Solihull, various other teams at this level. And then in midfield, we've got Shep Morombedzi, who is another long-serving Brackley player. Been here, 7 years? So presumably a bit of a fan favourite. And Alfie Bates at 23, he's a youngster and he's our playmaker, former Walsall and Birmingham youngster. Had some time out on loan in Finland, interestingly. Not sure how he ended up in Finland. What's Alfie Bates' story, boys and girls? And then as our front 3, we've got Scott Pollock, who wears the number 77. It was like that when I got here. I take no responsibility for that. I find it hideous. But if that's what he wants, who am I to make that face unhappy? 23 years old. He's an attacking midfielder, joined from Boston this summer just gone, where he got 14 goals for Boston last season as an attacking midfielder. That's a nice little goal return. Spent some time on loan at Yeovil as well in the National League, where he didn't score any goals. But he's a former Northampton youngster. We're going to try and bash that out of him. And I imagine my younger followers are going to be giddy with excitement at the fact that he used to play for #United. So maybe I haven't heard of him. Maybe you've heard of him because he used to play for #United back before you were born. And then our front two, we've got Danny Newton, who at 33 is an old man who's literally there just to score goals, which he has done occasionally in the past. Got lots of goals for Tamworth that season. And he had like 4 double-figure seasons in a row, including an 8-match loan here at Brackley where he didn't score a goal. So hopefully he does better this time around, and he's going to partner Connor Hall at 26. He's going to be our target man. He's in on loan for the season from Solihull. We've got a lot of players in from Solihull, formerly of Sheffield United, Bolton. He's done the rounds a little bit, but he's another one who has had the odd season where he's banged in some goals at this level before. Last season for Chorley, 20 goals. Hopefully he can repeat that again. Wouldn't that be a lovely old thing? So we're playing this 3-5-2, I guess you could call it. The game calls it a 5-2-1-2, which seems a bit FIFA-y for my taste. But we've based it on a fluid counter-attack. We've adjusted some of the stuff. We've made it slightly higher tempo. We're aiming the goal kicks at our target man. What's the point of playing with a target man if we're not going to aim for him? And we've upped things like the defensive line, the press, how often we press. We've got elements of my beloved Gegenpress mixed in with elements of the fluid counter-attack, with some elements of its non-league aim for the big guy. And hopefully the combination of all those things works. Disregard the fact it didn't work in pre-season. It all starts from here. We only take the competitive games seriously. Let's aim for the big guy. Let's get some corners and hopefully start this year's Non-League to Legend, the 10th anniversary of Non-League to Legend. Let's start it with a bang. Let's get down to some actual sensible highlights. People often ask how I have my camera set up. There you go. This is how I have my camera set up. And then we like behind goal for there. I think that looks about right. There we go. You're going to have to play a little bit faster than this, boys. Goodness me. Let's bump that up. Do we go up one more? New save things. Right. Is that too fast? That might be too fast. We'll adjust it as we go. It's been a long time since I've set up a new save. Only 1,000 people have turned up. I'd have been hoping for more. Right, we've got a corner from McCann. His dad could hit a lovely set piece back in the day. We are going to be looking to do in-swingers more often than not, but we've got outswinger there as an option. There's McCann again, and it ripples the top of the netting. That would have been a lovely way for McCann to introduce himself to the Brackley faithful. I think highlights are a little too fast. Let's take them down to there. Remains 0-0. I don't know if 1,000's a good attendance for us. Obviously, we'd like to get a few more through the door, but I guess capacity is only 4,000. I'd like to think with the big boys, we should be right at defending set pieces as well. Right, that was definitely too slow. So I think we do normally have it there. We'll get there in the end, boys and girls. We'll get it exactly right. Obviously, all we're really looking for today is for the new system to look like it might work eventually and for us not to lose. We don't need to be worrying about getting promoted this season. I mean, don't say it too loud with Bates around. He's supposed to be our playmaker. He's just kicked it directly into an opposition player. See, this feels a bit too fast, but it felt a little bit too slow. Is there normally an in-between? Have they taken my in-between? Oh, that's a lovely save from Maxted. We've got an early hero, and he's our goalkeeper. That is a phenomenal save. It's definitely too fast. There you go. I think that's how we do it normally. Is this about right? Obviously, I am coming from playing Premier League, Champions League football at the tail end of Wembley to non-league football, so the players are all going to be a little bit slower anyway. So I imagine that's why it feels ever so slightly slow on this setting, but it definitely felt too fast on the other one. We've got oh my word, 3 players in there, but Maxted comes out with a ball in his hands. What a hero he is. We've not really created anything at all in this first half, which is a little bit alarming. We are the home team. We are obviously set up with about 15 defenders on the pitch, but I'd like us to create something at some point. I think transfer policy wise, I'd like to bring in some wingers to give us an alternative way of attacking. Just having to play with a back five because we don't have anyone who can play wide further forward, it's not ideal. I guess an alternative would be to play with a diamond, but I don't know. I don't think we have the quantity or the quality of central midfielders to play a diamond either. We are a little bit restricted what we can do tactically early on by the fact that the squad is already maxed out on budget, and the players that we've got seem very much set up to play this way. I'm not particularly comfortable having two lumps up front either. I don't mind one lump at this level, but I would like a quick striker. If we can find a quick striker on loan, that would be ideal. I was going to say before deadline. I don't think we have a deadline day in the National League North, do we? I have to relearn the lower leagues after being away for so long. Right. Murram Bedsy, he plays or tries to play it into Carline. It's a poor pass from him. But we've got so many men who get in behind the ball. We actually get away with it, I think, although they've got over the top of McCann here and the cross comes in. I think that was an own goal. It's gone down as a goal for their striker. I mean, it's got to be said, it's been coming. We haven't played very well at all, but it looked like, I mean, I'm not really sure who this has gone in off. I mean, the fact that the game has said it's gone in off a striker, the game's probably right. There's multiple ambulances and a multi-storey car park there, which is interesting. I mean, Maxted, I've declared him the new hero or the first hero. He probably should have had that cross. We're going attacking. We're going to demand more. We at least want to draw our first game. We don't want to be losing our first ever game of this year's non-league to legend. That's not the right way to start. Right, let's... we've got to take McCann off. He's tired. We don't really have someone else who can play left wing. I mean, I guess Craig is the one who could go there. And then we can bring on Zach Lilly, who isn't very good. Do we actually bring on a more attacking player and try and do something else tactically here? We don't have many options. I guess we could. Let's get another tactic going. I'm thinking a 4-2-4. A 4-2-4. Is that on here? No? Find me a 4-2-4. 4-2-4. This is what I'm aiming for. And then, so we don't bring Craig on. Go back. So we lose the foot. Brilliant. Most complete version of Football Manager ever, boys and girls. Right, give me the 4-2-4 again, which is still hidden in here. 4-2-4, wing play. And what I'm thinking is Craig goes out to left back. McCann's still going to come off. We're going to lose the attacking midfielder, who is Pollock. Pollock's going to come off. I've lost everybody. Right, Cabangolo's the centre-back. Right, so that can be the back four. McCann's going to come off and Roberts is going to come on. Pollock will come off and Lowe will come on. And then everyone else pretty much fits into the same roles they were in before. We probably need to make him... Yeah, he can be a fullback. He can get forward a little bit more from there. And then he wants to be a wide target man. So goodness me, I'm going to let him. And he needs to get forward a bit. And then he can be a target man. He can still be a pressing forward. And we're going to stay on attacking. And at least it's trying something a little bit different. Maybe this is the answer. I managed. Who had 68 minutes for how long until I abandoned the back three? I tried. It was just horrible. I mean, I'm not saying we're not ever going to do it again. We probably will still start that in the next game. But it was horrible, wasn't it? Absolutely horrible. The problem is Cabangolo can't really defend. So having him in a back four is going to expose us a little bit with him. We've had our first proper shot on goal. Muramedzi. I've got to learn the names of these boys. But we are now going to demand more. And have we got somebody who can step up and grab us an equaliser? That would be ideal, please. We've got a defensive midfielder, a right back and a centre back on the bench. None of that is particularly exciting, is it? What kind of defensive midfielder are you? You're a ball... Oh, we'll just do a straight swap. I mean, you might be better than Shep. Who knows? You're probably not. We're going to go very attacking. We're going to demand more again. Remember, Scunthorpe are one of the best teams in the league as well. They're early favourites for promotion. So a narrow 1-0 defeat isn't actually a terrible result. I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater tactically. We will try the back three again. But if we can just drag ourselves to an equaliser now, that would be super duper. There's Roberts, who plays it out to Craig, who tries to play it over the top looking for Newton. It actually ends up back with Craig, who, remember, is a centre-back who we're playing out of position at left-back now because Bailey McCann had to go off. Cabangolo plays it forward looking for Newton, can't find him, and it's going to come back at us. And there's Cabangolo getting exposed defensively. Craig tries to come across and cover him. Can't. Maxted's beaten from range. Carline does quite well to bring away the ball. And that was very close to being a second goal for Scunthorpe. And to be fair, looking at the match stats, looking at the XG, they would be good value for a second goal. It's not been the ideal first game as Brackley manager. There is still much work to do. I think we still need to bring a few loans in, don't we? Kings Lynn in 2 days. I don't feel like that's adequate preparation time. Right, no changes to the starting 11 for the game against Kings Lynn. We don't really have much in the way of other options. I'm trying to clear out a couple of these fringe guys, offering players out. I'm toying with the idea of recalling Alex Gudger as soon as I can. It now says the player can't be recalled. It previously said I couldn't recall him within the first 28 days. I now can't recall him at all. So forget toying with that. We have got a proper 4-2-4 secondary tactic that we can switch to if we need to switch to. It's based on a route one, but again, heavily modified. So we've got that as an option to switch to that we're actually now training. But we're going to go with this again against a team that hopefully aren't going to be as good as Scunthorpe. Kings Lynn are expected to finish below us. So although we're the away team, fingers crossed, we should fare a little better against Kings Lynn than we did against Scunthorpe. If we really, really struggle again in this one, I do start to lean towards potentially abandoning the flat back seven. But one of the things we are training is this long throw, which I'm hoping is going to be as deadly as the corners, because again we get the two big boys from the back forward and just aim at them, and it has caused a little bit of chaos here. And Hall is there, and Connor Hall is the first goal scorer for Brackley in this year's non-league to legend, and it all stemmed originally from a little bit of chaos caused from a long throw. It dragged a load of Kings Lynn players out of position. They never fully recovered, and then Pollock doing good work, drifting out from that attacking midfield role out to the left-hand side. It's a lovely cross from him, and Hall just peels back away from his marker and nods it past the keeper. It's 1-0 to Brackley, and now it's another long throw, and Carline again looking for Cabangolo and Dean, who are in there causing chaos, and it comes to Craig, the third centre-back, who was also forward, this time hovering on the edge of the area, and he's now got his first goal for the club. The plan was good all along. Get the ball forward, get these set pieces, cause chaos. I mentioned it in episode 1. I went and just picked a random match highlights on the Brackley YouTube channel, and all 3 goals came from set pieces. It was 1 from a corner, 2 from long throws. It's definitely something that's in the club's wheelhouse in real life, and we've opened up today's match with 2 goals that, although not directly from long throws, have started with long throws and have resulted in goals, which is jolly nice to see. And now it's back with Craig, who I guess Craig could probably play as a wide centre back if I wanted to get extravagant. He can play left back, he can play left wing back. He's currently playing on the left hand side of a back 3. It's not a role I've ever really experimented with in the past. Maybe you'll see me experiment with it now. Probably won't, but maybe. Who knows? We might have a little play, because I guess that would then turn it into more of a back 4 when we're attacking, which would be quite nice. I do like a back 4, and we're in again with the third. Come on then. Forget everything that happened in the first match. We're good at football. 3-0 up with exactly the same team playing exactly. I knew this system would work. This is Kev ball in action. Just get the ball up to the big guys and let them do their thing. We've got a proper strike partnership. It's a long time since I've had a strike partnership, but we've got a big front 2, and they scored 3 goals from 4 shots, which shows that there's some finishing in this team as well. And also, poor old Kings Lynn are just having an absolutely disastrous start to the match, but we'll take it. 3-0 up at half time. That's pretty much job done. If we manage to throw it away from here, we're a bunch of wallies, aren't we? Right. Let's... I'm tempted to drop down the mentality a little bit. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. It's not really something I tend to do normally, but You know, this is a new save, new me. I'm wearing corduroy. That means I'm going to... Oh. I was doing a speech and now we've lost our best attacker. Matt Lowe's going to have to come on and play up front. We now don't have any more strikers at the club. If that's a proper injury to Hall, we're going to need to go out and get ourselves a striker before, before the window closes. There is no window, but we just need one soon. Bates with the free kick from the edge of the area, and it just sails comfortably over. And I think we'll take it down to balanced. We'll go to a balanced mentality. I might even go cautious before the end of the game. I might even do some time wasting. I don't think you've ever seen me do time wasting in a video before. It's a whole new world. And Newton's in, and that was a bit of a sitter. I said we had good finishing. We've lost it now because that looked like more of a goal than two of the ones we scored before. But it's the long throw again. Newton looked like he'd been brought down on the edge of the area there. I'm not sure why we were aiming at Newton rather than a couple of big boys. Maybe that switch from attacking to, or from positive to balanced changed how many players we send forward from our set pieces. It shouldn't. I don't think that should have an impact on the set piece instruction. We'll monitor it. I assume we'll get another long throw as the game goes on. And maybe it will result in us sending fewer boys forward, which just makes it all the more likely that I'm never going to switch to a balanced mentality again. And this is why I never like doing it, because all we've done is invited Kings Lynn to come at us. I'm going back to positive. I've played enough Football Manager over the years to know the shape of the rest of this game. If we try and close the game out, we don't have the quality to close the game out. If we sit back and let them attack, they're going to score goals because we're not very good. Bailey McCann struggling for fitness again. This time I am going to bring Lily on and put Craig up there because I don't want to change the system. The system is working and the other one is much more attack minded. It's interesting that Kings Lynn setting up with a similar style. They're playing a Segundo Volante in the National League North. That's too fancy for me. Low with the header from the edge of the area, but it just loops up and into the hands of the Kings Lynn keeper. 15 minutes to go. I'd very much like to not see another highlight unless it's us taking a corner or a long throw. But there's the big lumped ball forward to the Kings Lynn attacker, and they are trying to do pretty much what we've been trying to do, and it's not really been dealt with there. And the ball's going to come, or it was going to try and come back in again, but it's dealt with by our defender. It's a terrible touch from Newton. And we've got these two big centre forwards. They need to actually hold the ball up in this situation. And that was rubbish because it's just got Kings Lynn coming straight back at us again. And they've now got a second one back. And this is problematic now. That one's been disallowed. Okay. We're not going to worry then. If they're disallowed, that's fine. It's certainly been a different match since Hall went off injured. Right, we've got one more change we can make and a lot of tired legs. Carline, we don't really have a replacement for. So I guess it'll be Bates or Craig. We don't really have a replacement for Craig. So by process of elimination, Alfie Bates is the one that comes off. Can Burn play as a playmaker? He can play as a Segundo Volante. Two can play at this game. Kings Lynn. If you're going to be fancy, we're going to be fancy. Yeah, that's right. Episode 2, and we're doing a flat back 7 and a Segundo Volante. It's a whole new world. Cabongolo. I thought he was going to do the goal that I promised you we'd do. We haven't done it yet. Dean plays it back to Cabongolo, and he plays it all the way back to Murrumbedzi. And now Carline has the shot from range, and he's hit the crossbar. The keeper, I don't know if he's trying to make a save or if he's just fallen over there, but that was very nearly a super duper goal. But unfortunately, the crossbar is there to defend it, and it looks like it's going 3-1. I'm absolutely happy with that as a result. It's a shame that we didn't get the clean sheet bonus, but you know what? We're skint, so we don't really want to pay out bonuses if we can afford it. The key thing is, how injured is Hall? Probably injured enough for us to need to go and get a striker, even if it's just on a 3-month loan or something. Because we've got a lot of matches to play in the next 7 weeks. That's like a quarter of the season without our main striker, which is not ideal. Right, as it is early days and we're still figuring out the team, we're not going to go too far before the next episode. I've got one eye on the FA Cup, but also an eye on maybe only going 4 or 5 matches and maybe not going that far. So we'll see how things are going. And we'll be back, of course, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Monday to Friday, non-league legend, 4 p.m. Until FM25 now. We're going to have a lovely time. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.